When I tried using the crystal ball of Yamamoto today, it still hadn't recovered enough for him to talk to Hanyu. Only half a day had passed, but maybe if I went to the storehouse, I'd get through. I wonder if actually, like, him talking on the ball actually would, like, maybe get rid of the sending you to a sort of hospital, honestly. Not just for you, but for the, I guess, this version of Worlds Rika, if we do go back. Whether or not Rika actually kills this, like, her mom in this world, or maybe most likely just the power that Rika's mom, like, connects and gives her the power in some way, or, like, they literally just connect, like, bond literally, and the power gets shared. Anya once told me the old heir from the past remained in the storehouse, and that she felt comfortable there. Maybe that meant the storehouse was filled with Hanyu's power. Well, I mean, the storehouse has been locked up under lock and key for several years, only certain people are allowed in, so makes sense. In other words, while the crystal ball didn't have quite enough power, maybe being in the storehouse would help a little. Break-in time again. Late that night, I slipped out of bed and snuck into the storehouse. I wanted nothing more than to talk to Hanyu. I went to the altar before the holy vessel and spoke into the crystal ball. Can you hear me, Hanyu? The light in the ball was feeble, but its otherworldly glow was clearly present. Please, let her hear me. My wish was granted, and in a quiet voice, so low it might disappear any moment, spoke in answer. I can hear you, Rika. Hanyu, thank goodness. Listen. I oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know. This wasn't the time for crying. I need to tell her everything discovered and ask Hanyu's opinion. I quashed my frantic emotions and told her the fragments of my mother. So, exactly, what is the plan here? Hanyu stayed quiet for a few moments. I mean, I guess the ultimate situation is just somehow finding a way for just Rika's mom to somehow be able to transfer or, like, share that power. So both you can, I guess, be the vessel, but I don't know if that would work. The only thing I can think of, like, to make that would work is almost like similar how Hanyu gives her power to Rika, honestly, just so to bring her back in time. But I mean, like, we see Rika honestly, like, harness the whole thing with a fragment, so it must be doable then, like, to learn power from someone else then. So why not someone else share that? But that makes it even worse because, well, unless, like, Rika's mom actually taught to this world's version of Hanyu, then from the sound of it, she doesn't really have any, I guess, training, quote unquote, unless something bad happened when she was a kid, Rika's mom. Oh my good gosh. She knew, of course, that I had to kill my mother to return the fragment to the world of the gods. It makes sense, doesn't it? It only appeared Oyashiro-sama's reincarnation. I'm not the 8th in this world, so you can't appear to me. The 9th isn't good enough, huh? It was a very long time ago. Ancient times. So ancient, even I've mostly forgotten. It happened back when Hanyu was still living in Hinamizawa. Before Hanyu became Oyashiro-sama. It was how it all began, which Hanyu never told me about no matter how much I asked her. My human self, that is, when I decided to become a god, my daughter, your ancestor Rika, was very sad about that. She knew I made the decision, because I lost hope in the human world. I took all the sins of the human world upon me, for there was no other way to cleanse those sins than to destroy the sinners themselves. You were forcing their sins into each other, an ugly existence. Your excessive cruelty caused me to lose hope in this world. I undertook all the sins of the human world, and cleansed them by letting them kill me. I entrusted the final duty to my own daughter. I thought that unless I gave her that role, she would one day be despised as the daughter of a demon god, and lose all hope in the human world herself. My daughter didn't like that role, but she understood the weight of her mission, and in the end, she went through with it. But she said something to me, that she would change the human world, which only the price of life could purify its sins. Humans would combine their strength and help each other, cooperating with mutual benefit in mind. She swore to me that she would create this utopia, which her mother had only dreamed of. Please, Mother, do not lose hope in the world of man. I swear that I shall heal that sadness. But I would become a god. I can accept my daughter's feelings. No, actually, that wasn't it. I had already lost hope in the corrupted world of man. I just didn't want to look at it anymore. But my daughter made a firm promise that she would remake that world into something better. And I shall believe in what you feel. When in this land people live happily, aid one another, support one another, and think as one, I shall return to this land once more. Oh. Been a while since we've seen anything about the bridge, or any kind of bridge anyway. My daughter killed me and took control of the village. The divine power, the demon god dwelling within her. She became their leader, and created doctrines that everyone would trust in and help one another. By making them fear a curse where discordant hearts would revive the specter of the demon god. She led them strictly, not letting my purification go to waste, so that those purified sins would never again revisit the village. And so the village did regain a temporary peace, but never descended to them again. I had rejected the human world much too strongly. But no matter how strong the power to reject, it can never last forever. Whether hearts, or walls, or lids, or doors, there's nothing that time will not decay. Even the power shutting me away from that human world wouldn't last forever. My daughter would earn the limits of that power through a revelation from a higher god than me. It was said that when 8 generations of Furude bore a girl as their first child, I would come again. The miracle of 8 consecutive firstborn girls would be the key that broke my power rejection. My daughter left that legend to the Furude family, and it passed down to her descendants, so this land would continue to become my ideal. Oh, like, so an actual literal, like, god above you literally just said, oh, don't worry, she'll come around to it, just wait 8 more generations, and she'll get around. Don't worry about it. Okay. Oh, hi. So, Rika, when you were born as the 8th girl in a row, I was connected to the human world again. Like, wait, I thought you said, like, you couldn't talk to anyone, or I mean this, like, actually metaphorically. Like, you couldn't talk to anyone, but the second Rika came to be, she saw you, noticed you, and, like, you became, more interested and, like, less despondent. Well, at least till the whole time loop thing happened. Long ago, I may have hated and shunned the human world, but a millennium without contact with more than enough time to heal my sadness. What about those higher gods, though? At some point, I actually started to feel sad at the prospect of living in a world where I was all alone. I had intended to spend those 1,000 years in rejection, but it was also a punishment for me. I realized how shallow my feelings had been when I hated and despaired over the human world. Before I realized it, the Furude family started giving birth to consecutive girls. When your mother was pregnant, I wished so much for it to be a girl. I'm sure. I mean, the first face I remember seeing was my mother's. It was yours. Wowee, what an impression. Maybe abandoning the human world for 1,000 years was my punishment. Humans can only live in the human world. They must live earnestly in the world they are born into. For someone who made light of that and tried to abandon the world so easily, maybe exile of 1,000 years is a fitting punishment. Hanya's words were heavy. Wait, are you saying that you're trying to suggest that Rika's punishment is literally just to die in this other world? Okay, okay. Alright then, even though she was completely fine with going into this world just lickety split, if she goes to spawn into the world, and she managed to get her like enthusiasm, I guess, will to live back from the last installment. She died there. Nope. Okay, look at that. You didn't appreciate your life well enough. Here's another world where everything is a bit better for the same time worse. Okay. Maybe haven't been carefree in our walks between countless worlds. Even comparing our own lives to dice rolls, we've been sinful. I mean, I guess in the sense of, like, you take your own life for granted, I guess in that way, but, like, you were getting depressed because, like, even then, because, like, everything that was happening anyway, you're dying repeatedly over and over again. I wouldn't exactly say you're taking your life for granted because the world made you think your life was being taken for granted. I live with you, my friend and daughter of 1,000 years ago. And when we came to the dead end in 1983, I committed another sin. Used my power to change your fate. Are you saying in the very first world, you should have accepted the fate of Takano cutting me open and killing me? It may sound cruel to Eureka, but that is how I feel right now. Okay. I made light of the world I lived in. I made light of the world you lived in too. I should have lived in earnest in the world where we were together. I should have welcomed it, no matter its end. It's... After 1,000 years of how much long it is, I wouldn't exactly say, like, it's bad you feel like you didn't take it all for granted, because it was a sudden change anyway. It takes time to get used to that, but still. Stop that. Allowing a masochism might make you feel better, but it makes me unhappy. Do it in your own time. I said I didn't want to surrender to that fate, and I'd fight on forever to achieve a much more wonderful life. So fight against this system and go through so many different worlds to achieve our own happiness. God's fate, destiny be damned. And made this 100-year journey with you. We're at the end. It's hard to come out with that now. You're just being sentimental. Aren't you just making light of this world too, which you and I built together over 100 years? Don't you think that's selfish? It is man's sin to save a dying animal, then bask in rapture. What? We go up the snowy mountain, kill the beasts, and offer their numbers to the gods. You have officially lost me. After all of this, you're saying it was my fate to die too? Oh, you're going with the whole fact of the second someone dies, you take that, accept that in stride then. Okay then. So, alright then. So, the world says, this person has to be born and, experience so much terrible hardship, like being, like, abused and discriminated from the entire village, and then by the end, her best friend dies, and a few days later, the entire town will be all rounded up in complete terror and agony and be either gassed or shut up. That is the fate, and the only reason why, for example, Sadako was born into this world, based on the fate of the very first world. And I don't need to explain again why when I came to this revelation when I was younger, even like in middle school, that I found that complete and utter bullshit. After all this, you're saying it was my fate to die too? You got insane. I don't care what you say. The world we won is a result of our sweat and tears. Yeah, it's a complete effort. You and I are the only ones who can understand how brilliantly it shines. And now you're rejecting it? Rika, please let me get back on topic. I think you're changing the topic really quickly. No. Once I have my fill of this world with you, the 8th, I plan to disappear at the end of your life. Oh. And nothing to do with the time you've been alive for, so I never told you. But in that world, your mother is the 8th. That means I've already had contact with the world of man, who's satisfied with how wonderful Hinamizawa I've become, and have already left for a higher plane. So again, that means in all these multiple worlds, there's another alternate you out there that has a different experience, which is this is a unique thing of having a sci-fi, like a sort of a spiritual story with multiple worlds, having also the same exact person, clones of the same god, going and literally going to the higher spiritual plane. Honestly, there's an infinite amount of Hanyus out there and other infinite versions of every other deity and spirit in the world. That's a lot. It actually kind of fits with I guess the omnipresent, I guess the grand feeling of like the natural life, I guess. But like, oh my god, holy shit. In that world, I've already left. That's why I can't appear there. But there's a fragment of your world there. It's my mother. Which means this. Only my mother knows that she's the 8th. If I kill her, the contradictory force saying you can't appear here will vanish. Correct? That's right. Originally, it was an obvious fact that your mother is the 8th in that world, and killing her wouldn't necessarily change anything. But until you drifted here from another world, Rika, it would be more like mooring a boat to dock. It was fortunate only your mother knew the truth. If a lot of other people knew, you had to kill them all. Oh. It's the price of knowledge, okay. A literal true to God information hazard. I'm sure you wanted my opinion on whether you should kill your mother, return to the previous world, or stay in this world. I did. Make the choice your own. Well, this whole time, I've been investigating what kind of world you're in. And when I found out what it was, I expected this day would eventually come. I predicted you would grow indecisive and talk to me about it, that you would want to choose a world based on the result of our discussion. So I thought long and hard about how to guide you. Unlike the world of gods, the words in the world of man are narrow. No matter what words I choose, they will carry bias within them. I thought very hard about what words to say to you so that you would truly choose for yourself. And I still am. After all, you left the answer in my hands. If I suggested you should choose this world, you would choose it. You would share the responsibility of paying the price to me. That would be cowardly, and there's no worth in a life resulting from such a decision. As someone who has charted countless worlds and left their footprints outside the world of man, you must make a responsible choice. Without relying on me. Are you saying this is literally the last time Rika can actually talk to you? Okay. With your own strength. I know what you're trying to say. You couldn't bear me shifting the blame and saying, this happened because I did what you said. Decide your own life for yourself. Easy enough to understand. I guess it actually fits in line, honestly, well. If, like, I'm, now, like, Rika's in a position where she can't really rely on Hanyu, like, I'm, almost, the entire time loop itself. At the same time, there's a part of me, like, it's still cawing the distance a tiny bit, because, again, I'm, giant time loop and infinite pain, suffering, like, shenanigans. So, I'm, I want to tell you this, too. I was happy spending my life with you. And through those countless worlds we walked together, I let Hinamizawa overflow with kind and gentle cooperation. Everything I wanted from the world. I wanted to say that even if you choose a world without me in it, and I was to disappear, I would still be happy. Hanyu had foreseen this. Foreseen that this world would grow ever warmer for me. But Hanyu herself was in opposition to this world. Any amount of discussing this with Hanyu, who was in the previous world, will make it more difficult to forsake that one. She had even anticipated that after discussing with her, I need to make a decision from an impartial viewpoint. That's why she said it. She wanted to accept whatever fate Rika Furdy's decision gave her. She didn't want me to worry about her, and live in the world that I liked the best. Okay, well, let's say I did choose this world. What would happen to you? Because that world's rules, our long journey together would come to an end. For you, a life in that world, and for me, the fact that my time has already ended in that world would be applied. Doesn't that mean you would disappear? Not really disappear, but just from the world, really, so. But that's a really, really pleasant thing. You seem to think it is me dying. I guess so, but, like, that's how she thinks of it. It's already been, like, you already said several times, like, you're going to a higher plane. And at first I thought so too, that the me in that world would die. But the Hanyu of that world, she may have disappeared, but she was filled with joy. She spent her life with your mother, enjoying her time to the fullest. Your mother's still alive, but that world's version of me is having a wonderful dream, enveloped in kindness, and a sleep from which she'll never wake. I'm sure that warmth, that comfort, is like that of mother's womb. Now that I know that, I actually wonder if you would choose that world. For me. Are you serious? If you had lived for 1,000 years, Rika, you would understand that warmth. I could feel an ecstasy in Hanyu's words. Honestly, yes, in here. Hanyu lived for a millennium, and she understood that in a way I couldn't. You have to be joking. I'm just a kid. I'm only 100 years old. Like, technically speaking, that's true, but, like, you only have, like, 100 years experience in the mind of a kid and, like, the maturity of a kid. Like, I've seen someone, like, point it out best that you, Rika, are, like, are literally still a kid, but have lived 100 years as a kid's life, honestly. Like, I think someone put it best, and what was it? You're a kid who's basically had to be forced into the role of a grown-up so early on. Even though the supernatural things didn't happen, I think, like, Enrica's life, actually, like, sort of constituted to that as well. With him, being spoiled a bit as a kid, but then, her parents dying, and then, taking it upon herself to, like, give house to, Sadako and actually grow from that. Like, you know, living only by the two of them together in that household, then just growing up from there, like, you have to learn a lot of different things so quickly at a young age. It's almost kind of like that. And since Rika had the misfortune of being the first of family to be completely, like, gone, honestly, she had to go into that role much sooner. And then Sadako, I guess, took up some of the slack, but still kept maybe a bit of her innocence, or, like, Rika already realized that Sadako had to go through a lot of things, and so Rika just took it upon herself to take more responsibilities, so Sadako can, I guess, grow up more naturally, in a sense. You have to be joking, I'm just a kid. I'm only 100 years old. Of course I can't understand. Rika, would you please stop using me as a reason to run away from this choice? Ugh, yeah. Why can't you choose for us? I gotta be distant from this crime. That was the truth. My old world and this one are being weighted on scales of my heart. It isn't tipping, even slightly toward either side. Trying to shift the responsibility for choosing Otahanya was just me being irresponsible. The one question I would make is, if, like, Rika, like, chooses to kill her mom and go back to their world, does that mean, like, the original world's Rika comes back here, honestly? That would probably, like, influence the decision way much more, honestly, if so. That or, literally just one of those things, like, this world's Rika just doesn't have a soul or a spirit then left, like, nothing else comes along to replace it. When, I guess, Burn Castell goes back to, chapter, like, you know, installment 8's, you know, world, where everything turns out for the better. Trying to shift the responsibility for choosing Otahanya was just me being irresponsible. I can tell you everything about the world's construction to help you make your choice. The entire rundown. Oh. First, Keiichi Maebara, who told us many times that destiny could be broken. He didn't transfer in schools in this world. Like, I'm assuming he went to somewhere else then, right? Maybe another rural area? I know that for a while now. He was in my class. For a time, Keiichi suffered the stress of his entrance exams. Unlike in the previous world, he wasn't firing any toy guns at children. Huh. Wait, what changed then? I guess subtly from this world to the other ones. He strengthened his mind, endured the temptation, and finally overcame his mental weakness. Right now, he's trying to deal with the exams awaiting him as someone with a firm pride in his breast. Which means Keiichi-sen is absent, which is why he never moved here. Reno Ryugu too never moved to Ibaraki, since her parents' company stayed in business. Therefore, the divorce didn't happen either. For that reason, Reno will feel no guilt. Rena had no sin either. The day of the ceremony where the elder sister had her back tattooed, Mion Sonozaki and Shion Sonozaki didn't switch places. So literally, the Mion that we're talking to right now is actually what we know in our world as Shion then. That's probably the reason why she feels more harsh, honestly. In a sense. I see. I got the feeling that Mion at school seems somehow different. Yeah, she was a bit blunt. Way blunter than I guess the Mion we knew was. Shion actually was actually that bit, honestly. I think I remember there's a few times she literally said stuff like that verbatim, honestly. I think well, obviously in justifies Miyakashi, but yeah. But still, yeah. I see. I get the feeling that the Mion at school seems somewhat different. She always loved board games, but she talked about her little sister knowing more about them. Yeah, the whole translation thing. Ah, that makes a bit more sense anyway. I I see. I get it. Mion didn't push her role as successor onto her younger sister. Now spends her days trained to be the head of her family. Must have been a complicated situation anyway. Then they were swapped over, the back tattoo, and then I wonder if it was, I guess, like I guess who we know is Shion actually like deciding that maybe Mion should have that turn to, like, I guess, have a better life than her, or like it was the other way around, because they did mention that neither Mion nor Shion like told the truth about the swap anyway. So they're just technically swapped like forever then, and they're both just living with I guess the stress, honestly, from it. I think I also heard someone paraphrase it best, and or like the main story's Mion, honestly, is a character who has grown up with her family entirely hating her. Then suddenly when swapped over, now realizing her family all loves her, but now she's stricken with the idea now that the only reason all her family loves her now just because she's not who she says she is, so it's technically false love. And then Shion had the exact opposite of growing up very loved, but then after the swap, now almost everyone hates her. And because of that, now she knows that she knows like how her sister fell, and just how unfair it is anyway. I wonder exactly what choice that technically they made then. They do think alike or in the same time, but like she, in that sense, like I guess was taught different things, honestly, like when she was being, I guess, trained as the heir before the tattoo. So, Mion didn't push her role as successor onto her younger sister, and now spends her days training to be the head of her family. Shion too attends a distant school so she can support the family without getting in the way, and she's working her hardest as we speak. What did she plan to do? I wonder, actually, do you ever actually know what they're, like, I guess this world Shion and our, I guess, Shion was planning to do? Like, what would they actually, like, do? Like, just live their own life without any involvement with their family? I wonder what they both even do. The sisters both felt guilty at switching on the day of the tattoo ceremony. If that didn't happen, then Mion and Shion had no sin. I don't think I need to go on, but Sadako Hojo doesn't carry the sin at patricide. Sadako grew closer with her stepfather, and they rebuilt their relationship. Because of that, she was possessed by that terrible illness, which technically almost was all... That one is almost caused by the Hinamizawa syndrome disease itself. Unless you're saying, like, Sadako actually was cognizant, actually still, and actually decided to kill her parents because of, both, like, not even just, like, you know, the stress of, like, actually being sick, but also just recounting everything that happened, along with the stress of the dam conflict, and I guess the early, I'm assuming, much more harsher discrimination that the whole town gave her. Wow. You're saying that Sadako was cognizant of it before she repressed it? The Hojo family didn't oppose the village, and they weren't even ostracized. Sadako has no sin. Well, for Sadako and her family, this would be their ideal world. Yep. For Sadako and her family? Wait, no. Isn't this the ideal world for everybody? Yep. And technically speaking, from the sound of it, like, everyone's already, like, segmented them, it only just feels alien to us because of, we had an extended period of time with them, seeing how everyone's struggles, like, brought everyone closer together. I guess, like, almost like a little band of sinful misfits, apparently. It's the true demon club, apparently, even though it's not really that demonic anyway, but still, it's a cool name. Like, Sadako's her own friend group here. Satoshi, like, helps her out as much as he can, does still with the older brother role. Keiichi's not here, he's now doing his own thing. He doesn't have to worry about the stress of him, I guess, being the gifted child, honestly. Anything happen with him, the only thing happening right now is, like, Rena and, Mion, actually, like, quote-unquote, our world Shion, technically, are still bonded, actually, but they don't really do much of anything else then. They just talk and just do their normal, I guess, school stuff without doing any clubs or anything else special. I'm probably thinking about it. That means all their hobbies are completely different. Mion's, of course, it makes complete sense, but Rena, like, enjoyed going to the garbage dump, honestly, because of, she felt she was complete and utter trash because of, the divorce, and she felt she had a part in it. Wonder what they all do now without any of that struggle and hardship, honestly. Keiichi killed Hinamizawa because he committed a sin. In this world, he didn't, and was now living his very best. Pretty much every single character had some sin on some level. Rena avoided her sad fate too and never sinned. She called herself by her given name, Reina, and was living happily. Mia and Shion were leading happy lives too. Without a tattoo incident, they were friendly sisters, the way they'd been born. They were forced to live apart due to family's matters, but that wouldn't be enough to tear them apart. For Sadako, this world exactly is the world of her dreams. Surrounded by the warmth of her family and big brother, she was leading a bright and healthy life. This is the world that I, as her friend, should be wishing for the most. For Satoshi, well, this was the only world in which he still existed. In all the worlds I've been to, this was the only one where he was alive. Well, technically, what happened to the 8th chapter world? Are you saying, well, was Rika even there to even notice that? So, okay, she doesn't even know about that, but it's gonna be a long time before Satoshi actually, calms down. Which, since, like, Sadako honestly, like, felt like, like, pretty much almost everyone, like, still, like, the fact that, like, everyone, like, committed a sin, honestly, doesn't technically mean, like, they're on some level, I guess, like, on a certain, I guess, higher level of, Hinamizawa syndrome in some case before coming to Hinamizawa, or they just felt a sense of peace, honestly. Because, like, again, paraphrasing, I guess, Bob Vids, like, talking about Rena was pretty much almost always on, like, complete and utter stress because of the sin. Like, she felt almost completely responsible, and she was going completely unmedicated for the entire time, and only just only managed to, I guess, not go crazy by really actually, like, pretending to be happy, like, fake it till you make it attitude until the very end, like, actually trust in I guess what she thinks would be better, like, actually have fun with friends, honestly, and just do her things she could, honestly, to be happy, make other people happy. That's probably the only reason why she's doing as well, honestly. Because that was the one thing of him causing, I guess, Hinamizawa syndrome is, like, the whole thing of distrust, honestly, and just breaking apart, I guess, support systems. Which technically is, by a larger whole, is still the entire allegory for mental health, honestly. In other worlds I've been to, this is the only world where he was alive. Satoshi couldn't exist anywhere but here. I guess it would be a miracle if he appeared anywhere else then, right? I guess, Well, I guess in that sense that technically speaking that I guess in this world, almost everyone, again, like, since the whole damn conflict is, like, not happening, like, the whole thing's gonna be submerged anyway. The Hinamizawa syndrome, from the sounds of it, is implied to have been gotten rid of before any of the characters were even born. There is no conflict. None of them had any sins to handle with. None of them are connected, but everyone is happy living their own lives. And by the time the summer, like, this year ends, honestly, they'll all move on. Maybe some of them who actually have, like, their own connections, actually, that keep in touch. But technically speaking, like, this feels so fitting as a final trending for, I guess, Higurashi's main story, honestly. I can see why. This is literally just a story, no matter which world Rika decides to choose. It's literally her, like, contending with the fact that maybe way down the line, all the bonds you made, both friends and otherwise, even family, you either part with them and make your own path. Whether Rika decides to kill her own mom and goes back to the original world, she'd be leaving this one behind, and everything that happened within it that she witnessed, and then just decide to completely stay in this world, then would be the same thing as abandoning her friends, or like, no, not abandon because it's a different word, honestly, but just leave that behind, honestly, because everything that she should have done or could have done or anything like that. It's fitting. Enrica Ferude. For Rika, this world was... Maybe I had 0 friends. But just it's only a matter of, like, thinking about this point that if I was in a situation, my first thought would just be, not the fact that I was lonely here, but it just feels like, I was the only intruder here. It would be another thing of, like, maybe, like, your past world, I guess, would be out of destroying you to make the most of this one. But there's the option to go back and, I guess, enjoy and indulge in the things that, all your effort took you to. I guess it just goes to that question again of, would going back to your old world, honestly, like, almost essentially ruin this Rika, honestly. And I guess, like, another broad statement, I guess Rikishi's making here is, just from, the whole thing of, like, don't kill and don't murder, like, don't even think that's a good idea, is because, because if you kill someone, you're also killing a part of yourself. Which, I guess, like, almost every other, like, sin, we've seen all the other characters face, they also felt like they lost a part of themselves. Some bigger than others, honestly. We already seen that in so many different levels, like, loss of identity, and, I guess in Mia and Shien's case, like, just the struggle of actually, adapting to their new sudden identities, honestly. And then, in the case of Keiichi and Rena, honestly, just, know they did something bad, I think they did something bad in many different ways, but trying to forget about it, or try to find some way to mitigate or accept it, and try to, I guess, live on with it. Compared to my old world, that was very sad. I could change that now, through time and effort. Maybe I was sad Keiichi wasn't here, but Keiichi was living a resolute life in the place he originally lived. Instead, I had Satoshi. He wasn't the same as Keiichi, but he was very kind and considerate. And the club I was disappointed didn't exist could start the very next day if I wanted it to. With the Hojo siblings, Mion, Rena, and me, and maybe my other classmates too, what would the club be like with so many people? I didn't think I'd be able to compare it to the fun we had with Keiichi and the rest. I knew I wouldn't be able to place one over the other. My parents were in this world, and I already learned how to interact with them, as Rika Furude had regained the love of her family. My parents were in the previous world, but I had lively roommates that wouldn't leave me feeling lonely. Sadako and Hanyu. If I chose this world, I had to say goodbye to Hanyu, the friend I spent 100 years with. Friend? No. If what Hanyu said was true, then she was my ancestor and a mother to me. Which meant she was in the same exact level as my father and mother. She was my family. My parents and Hanyu were both very important to me. I couldn't possibly weigh them against each other. The only thing you can really weigh against is how much you technically bond with them, or you want to, with either of them. That world is the ideal world, born as someone's dream. Nobody related to you has sinned. It's a very, very pure, clear, and beautiful world. I've already left that world. Mariko's life hasn't been corrupted, so I have no sin either. And you, Rika? You haven't corrupted your own life, so neither do you. Even Takano has no sin. Not a single person does. A perfectly white, blank world. That's right. You can choose it now, Rika. Maybe this world is a valuable opportunity given to you at the end of your century-long journey by the god of fate, who even I've never met. They could have been a little more compassionate about it. Yeah, well, whoever that god of fate is, I have a few words. Which is why that god gave you the chance to go back to your old world too. By committing the gravest sin of matricide. You can choose to release yourself from this sinless paradise. So to get away from a sinless paradise, see the to get yourself away from here where there's no sin at all, or at least from what we know of everyone else, you create your own sin. Hanyu, you said your daughter killed you. What do you think of me repeating the act? Like repeating the entire cycle over again. Just looping. If I were your mother, I'll probably say this. If it made you happy, I would not spare my own life. It might be too early for you to understand, Rika. It's a feeling only someone who's given birth to a child and become a mother could know. I was a mother, so I understand. If you said going back to your old world would make you happy, your mother would gladly offer you her life. She couldn't. She's the one person who wouldn't ever say that. She'd just scream, "Are you crazy?" and go into hysterics. But then I remember my mother's smile when we made curry together. Would it be so strange if such fearsome words came from her mouth? I can't even tell if your mom in this world is honestly better or is different from I guess the original world's mom, because the Hinamizawa syndrome, just the small differences that happen between, because again the entire lineage has been changed, so the smaller details are now I don't regret my daughter killing me. Thanks to that, the sin she might have inherited was cleansed. If I'd spared my own life, my daughter might have been persecuted, same as me. But have you ever thought about what the daughter who killed you felt? It's easier to die, isn't it? You can wallow in devotion and virtue as you die peacefully. But the killer has to bear the cross forever. Didn't you say so before? Your daughter vowed to create a Hinamizawa where everyone wanted to help each other, all for your sake. And your daughters, over 1,000 years, went along with your sin. Maybe you shouldn't have died. I don't know what the sin you were bearing was, but you should have lived and fought. Fought so that your descendants wouldn't have to bear the sin. But you surrendered, and for 1,000 years your descendants have been bearing your cross. Right? Hanyu was silent. That, without a doubt, was Hanyu's sin. It was easy to die for her daughter's sake, but her daughter's guilt would never heal. But when Hanyu answered, she remained undaunted. Then, let me ask you, Rika. You, who say I should have lived and fought, what will you do now in that world? Do you wish to live in that world, accept the reality you're in, and always find the oddities different from your old world? Or will you bend that world that you gained over 100 years, stained in grime and sweat and yet still beautiful? She was right. Maybe this world was beautiful. But that didn't mean the way my old world shone wasn't beautiful too. Why wouldn't it be? We'd won that fate of such a long journey. And even now, you call that world, which you gained the end of a century, your original world. So, however pleasant this world may be, shouldn't you throw it all away? Fight away the desire to stay in this world, return to your original one? You get to destroy this world, liberate from all the sins related to you. My daughter, who tells me to fight. You too should fight. To fight is not to defeat and overcome the obstacles before you. In the end, that is no more than a simple detour on the straight path before you. To truly fight is to make your own choices. At every choice in life, at every crossroads, people hesitate. Having one choice brightly illuminated and then selecting it, such a predetermined choice is not a fight. When no matter how many times you're presented with a choice, you chose the same one. It's inevitability. A real choice is when you truly think and worry, when you never know which you should choose. It's precisely the same as the choice between the red box and the blue box you spoke of once before. Okay, that tip again. Because, oh god, again. I love that choice again. Oh, I could say so much more about something like, god, I've been focusing a lot of the aspect of choice in a lot of different games. Not even just visual novels in general, but again, like, choose your own adventure games and all that. Even, like, the Dark Pictures anthology and Until Dawn and all that. Like, oh good god, like that aspect. Oh, it gets. Oh, I just love like the discussion about that. Oh, I just want to look over this all over again. Having one choice brightly limited and selecting it such a predetermined choice not to fight. Because like that's one thing like coming to it honestly. Like, I've seen like other games when I was younger. This exact same thing of like giving a choice but then taking it away. And like on some level I did feel it was almost cheap. But like the story framed it as a sense of like it was not you making a decision, it was just the character contemplating it and making their own choice, which again is its own. Oh, it's such an interesting idea. Still, oh, like my good god, like oh good god. That's probably the same reason why I like Deltarune so much and why it's exploring the idea as well, like in a different format. But in the sense of like, you know, a person like playing a game and you're like controlling the protagonist and choosing what they would do and what they would say, how they would act, whether to fight or just to yield. Like it's so interesting. And oh my good god, they actually, I didn't even like register my brain. When no matter how many times you're presented with a choice, you choose the same one, it's inevitability. My good god, actually, there was, oh good god, there was like, oh gosh, there's another game, like, I had the exact same thoughts too of, the first time I played through it, just, I made, like, one choice at the very beginning with absolutely no context of anything happening, and then after learning everything about the game, honestly, when I went back to it, just revisited, like, someone else playing through it, honestly, I would still make the same exact choice anyway, even with the foresight and hindsight, because oh my good god, again the whole feeling of technically you're presented with a choice, but depending on your circumstances and how you think in your mindset, you would still choose no matter what. It's not technically a choice, but it's technically free will for that person. Oh good gosh, oh good gosh, ugh, it's so good. Oh, I love that take so much. A real choice when you truly think and worry, when you never know what you should choose. It's precisely the same as the choice between the red box and the blue box spoke of once before. And I'm actually kind of happy the choice I made, like, that was technically the box that I actually liked the most anyway. And I was actually perfectly fine without him not seeing the other choice, honestly. Oh, good gosh. Maybe way down the line, honestly, when probably, like, nothing else in the story would actually, like, probably change again, or like I'll probably just inadvertently see it if I finally watch someone let's play a game like do the exact same thing I did and only chose the other box but didn't want to choose the other one just to follow the game's philosophy. But oh my good gosh, I'd still choose the same thing. It's precisely the same as the choice between the red box and blue box you spoke of once before. Will you choose the red box or the blue? Choose without guidance demands incredible courage and determination. That is a true choice. If you knew what was in the boxes, it would no longer be a choice. It's because you do not know what is inside that you can be satisfied with what is in the box you chose. If you knew the context of the other, it would lead to despair. That's why such a thing as choice paralysis is a thing. Like, everything is simplified down to like people having like one or two choices. You know exactly what it was. You can make a choice easier. But like, if you're given so many different choices all at once, people tend to feel dissatisfied because maybe if they chose something differently, they might have something better. Or not. I guess this is technically the reason why I'm, sometimes some people, like, later on in life, like, legitimately have a midlife crisis. They're wondering, like, was the path they chose, the things they decided to learn up, the things they, decide to study, to major, and the people they decide to hang out with. Would it be better if you chose this instead, or that? Being left at a crossroads with no guidance and no hints is what it means to live. You might lazily continue to choose the right, or knock over the sign shows at random, or just make your own choice. Like Finn a la Adventure Time, just break the sign and go in the middle road. And just go into the bristles and brambles and get stuck all over. You may also search carefully for hints, worrying over how beneficial the left or right would be, remain at the crossroads forever. Yeah, it's kind of like when you have, like, I guess, not as much confidence. I remember distinctly, there's, like, one final thing you can do in, like, Black Sad, which I basically reference to, like, find the comments, that one of the last things you can do in that game is literally the game asks you point blank, are you satisfied with all the decisions you made? The time I said no. And a lot has happened since then. That was way early on making this channel. Thus, you would be able to accept the final result awaiting you as your own responsibility, would you not? You would not grow old and go into your coffin without wanting advice from your parents, would you? Worry, choose, and go forward. That is the fight. I earnestly worried and chose my own life. My daughters earnestly worried and chose their own lives. For each and every one of us, that is sacred. It is precious. The descendant 1,000 years later must not sully that. All who lived in that age were always beautiful. You must not speak of their lives using the values of later generations. Lastly, I'll tell you something very important. The Kamu no Mikoto no Ri's power that connects us all will soon be lost forever. The sword and the statue? I will never again be able to interfere with that world. So this is the last night I'll be able to hear one of these helpful lectures. There's one more thing. The fragment that has appeared in your mother will lose its power forever when the sun sets tomorrow. Oh. That's a lot. Losing doesn't mean disappearing. It means you will forever lose the chance to take back that fragment with your own hands. Which means I need to make my decision about whether to go back to my original world by sundown tomorrow. There's no third option to put the choice off. No. You may also choose a flee decision, purposely ignore the last moment you have to choose, and passively stay in that world. That's, like, technically just taking inaction, then. And, like, since how grand a scale this choice is, you can't really make a third one unless someone else gave you an out, or, like, gave you another choice, honestly. And that's the only thing you really can do here. It's either like, do nothing, complete inaction, that still means going along with another, like the original one or two choices, or break through it and decide to kill your mom just so you can go back to the original world. One is where you just sit back and let it happen, and the other half is where you had to act but do something completely terrible. If you did, would you live that life differently than one you chose proactively? Whether or not I chose proactively was also whether or not I'll accept this world. If I continue to live here without accepting it, I would drag along all the stress that I currently held forever. So you better make your choice a complete and utter resolution then, because if you don't put your entire heart into it, you'll feel guilty about it later on. That, or you just felt like you had to do it in the moment, and then the stress of what that happened actually carries with you the rest of your life. Because again, going with the whole murder allegory thing again, of making that choice in the moment, or like letting anger take over you, or like it was just so stressful you couldn't think straight then. It's almost, I guess, entirely the same thing. It's like similar than that. Compared to that, maybe it would be a lot better just to choose one or the other. But even that wasn't easy. Hanyo had said that very distress itself was the battle. Yeah, that feels about right, actually. Now, Rika, fight. Your fight will last until sundown tomorrow. But please, don't run away. Because whichever world you decide on, I know that world would be a wonderful one. Just like the world you gained after fighting for 100 years was. The world you chose after fighting through this will become wonderful. I'm sure of it. So Please, Rika, you mustn't choose one without fighting. People are never, ever satisfied with the result of a choice they didn't struggle with. Thank you, Hanyu. I'll fight with this choice. If I can meet you again, he'll be in our original world. And if it's this world, then take a good rest to heal your millennium of exhaustion. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much. It's because of your strength that I mistook my own life for something I couldn't do over as many times as I wanted. If that's who I am, I feel like it would be strange, somehow, if I was living in my own original world. It was easy for me to think that if I slipped up in any small way, I could just do it over. But that wouldn't make that world a wonderful one. In that sense, I understand, just a little, your sin of using your power on me when you shouldn't have. But that sin belongs to me too, for walking through such an easy life. As you traveled all those worlds, I called it re-rolling the dice, treating my own life without respect. I think that this world taught me the way of the decision. So at the end, being able to choose a wonderful world either way means I really am lucky, right? I have no doubt that I'm the most fortunate person in all these worlds. Thank you, Hanyu. Thank you for giving me your kind words until the very end. I was just stupid and conceited. I'll worry over this with everything I have. I'll worry and worry and worry and grasp a really, really wonderful world. So thank you, Hanyu. Hanyu, please. Answer me. The crystal ball was now quiet and cold in my hands, and gave off only a dull reflection. The flashlight illuminated me. I shed all the tears I could. I thought, if I didn't, I would hesitate when it came time to choose. So I cried out everything I had, and I thanked her for over 100-year relationship. Because, depending on my choice, I might never get to say those words again. Then, I replaced the crystal ball on the altar, where it was now just a marble, slipped out of the storehouse, and crawled back into bed. There was no way I was going to sleep. At least, that was what I thought, until I wrapped myself in linens, felt the cool wind on my bare feet, and drifted off to sleep without realizing it. Rika Furude was going to sleep. I was going to sleep. Good night, everyone. Good night, me. My good gosh. And the sun rose again on another wonderful day for Rika Furude. She took her first step, her first small effort to become friends with her classmates again. And at home, she was wrapped in her parents' love, and, the sun brightening her wonderful day, fell behind the mountains and disappeared. Oh, jeez. Long, long ago, there was a god who appeared before mankind. Bread rained down from the heavens. Some lamented that it was not meat. Meat rained down from the heavens. Some lamented that they preferred bread. God descended down from the heavens. Until I know will make all happy, water shall rain down. Water rained down from the heavens. All lamented that their clothes grew wet. Fire rained down from the heavens. All lamented that their homes were burned down. God descended down from the heavens. Until I know will make everyone happy, nothing shall rain down. Nothing rained down from the heavens. Some lamented that God had abandoned them. Many things rained down from the heavens. Some lamented that God would not make a choice. Huge rocks rained down from the heavens. At long last, there were none who lamented. Water rained down from the heavens. A passing traveler was grateful. God, thank you for the unexpected weather. With this, my journey would never be dull. God said nothing and watched him leave. All the best. So, what's your choice then? Do you know who I am, Rika-chan? Meep. Yes. Where am I? After hearing that answer, the nurse burst out of the room in sheer surprise. Oh. Oh, oh. How rude. Where's Dr. Irie? Huh. I would probably make the same choice, honestly. Call him at once. Tell him that Rika-chan has come too. My head hurts. Hello. Oh, thank goodness, thank goodness. Remember what happened? Meep. Is this the clinic? Yes. Don't. She has a major concussion. She's already forgetting things. While you were heading back to Hinamizawa with your friends, you had an accident, hit your head, and never woke up again. You never woke up again. You were in a coma this entire time. We feared your consciousness would never return. Thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. Irie even had a few tears in his eyes as he spoke. I was still just a little scared. I wanted to make sure this was the world I knew so well. So I mustered my courage and asked Irie. Yes, all your friends were incredibly worried about you. Sadako-chan, of course, and Maebara-kun, and Mion-san, and Rena-san. Unfortunately, Satoshi-kun still hasn't reached a state where he can wake up yet. And my mother? Your memories must still be a little confused. That happens when you've been unconscious for a long time. Is she dead? Yes, she died 2 years ago on the day of Nagashi. Were you dreaming of your mother while you were asleep? Thank you. I'm fine now. Now that my mother is dead, it gives me a complex feeling. But there wasn't any doubt that this was the world I knew so well. And according to Irie, it had been a little over a month since the accident. Oh my good god! Wake up, the accident wasn't your fault! Oh my good god! You were in a coma for a while! Wait, I thought she technically died like like how they visibly described it, like she went underneath the wheels. Is this a different world where all the same things happened, but like they just went back and changed it? Okay. I can't tell this is like the same original world, but like they went back in time and changed a tiny bit with the fate of the god of fate or whatever, or like really, this is like just another branch of that same exact world. Oh my. They're telling me he'd be right back. He scrambled out of the room. Left in my hospital room filled with the voices of cicadas, I could do nothing but wander through my vague memories for a time. I was fooling around my bike while heading home from playing the pool with everyone, and got hit by a car, right? I wonder how that guy is managing all this, honestly. Like, technically it's not, I guess, not their fault, because from the side of it, Rika was on the other side of the road, but still, oh my good god. It's still the whole case, like, even, like, murder, just, like, unintentional murder, just, like, in the heat of the moment murder, honestly. Holy shit. But the world I awoke to after that is still vivid in my mind. And if this is my original world, then grappling with a difficult choice, I chose my old world, and safely ended my long journey to return to it? Or was that all just a long dream I had? Like Irie said, wasn't a coma from the accident. I didn't know. Hanyu? Are you there? Hi. Hmm. It's just literally just, aw. God damn it. I actually didn't even know how to pronounce that for the longest time. That wasn't even a bit of me trying to avoid saying it. Literally, I didn't even know how you were supposed to pronounce it. Ow. That's good. Waking up in that world and not seeing you straight away was really disheartening. Has something like that ever happened? I've always been the first one that you saw whenever you woke up, Rika. Hanyu speaks to me while wearing an affectionate expression. Don't you dare try to rub the entire thing off as just a fucking dream. Or saying that at length just makes me remember the world of just a few moments ago. It was the first time. Hanyu wasn't there when I woke up. Hanyu? That world. Was it a dream? Or was it real? I don't really understand what you're saying, Rika. Don't you fucking play with me! Don't you fucking play with me! This thing happened? Are you serious? Rika, I don't understand what you're talking about. Was Hanyu playing dumb? Or was she telling the truth? I couldn't tell. Then, what was that world just in? This one, you silly goose! A dream? A dream. Hanyu answered immediately. I guess technically for all intents and purposes, it really just is anyway. So would be the other several thousand worlds. It's all distant and hazy. Like, I'm just collecting all the fragments again for Rika's own brain, honestly. She knows technically what happens, but they never really did in this world. So they might as well just be considered a dream then. And hearing that convinced me that since this world was no dream, then I killed her with my own hands. My mother had the fragment. I shouldn't have been able to return to my original world without killing her. If I was here, that meant I killed her. And then, after I killed her, I had to kill myself, like usual, send myself to the world of the gods. And conveniently, when I die, it goes back to my memories right before the event and tears them apart. So it was only natural that my memories of personally killing my mother didn't remain. Trembling, I looked at the palms of my hands. They were pure white, pale, and bloodless. No, that was just it. You didn't do anything bad in this world, but internally your own psyche has its own sin then now. That alone made me remember the feeling. Spread across my hands, that warm, sticky, slimy sensation. Ah! My fragment welled up inside me. Something inside me was desperately holding back the memories of that alien world. Crying out for some reason, desperately holding them back. Because they spilled out, they would surely swallow me whole. Rika, you need to calm down. Hanya put her hand to my forehead. I felt as though something was grabbing my lungs in a fist. I sensed a suffocation, like something was squeezing the breath out of me. It was squeezing those feelings about to swallow me up too. They couldn't come up any further. In exchange for the choking sensation, I gulped down the rising emotions, beginning to steadily regain my composure. Hanya realized it, and took her hand away. She just took it away from you, honestly. Oh, good gosh. I was wanting you to live with PTSD for the rest of your life, honestly. Well, technically, in a sense, well, you don't remember anything that happened with, like, your previous deaths, but my good gosh, if that mercy wasn't there, you'd probably be living with that for, oh, good god, till your natural end, honestly. My good god. Like, even research that as well, like, it's terrible, honestly. Just, like, having, like, auditory and, like, sometimes visual hallucination, just that gripping feeling in your chest, honestly. You feel you can't breathe. Like, panic attacks, like, I had to research that just for, like, not even I had to, but I wanted to research it for that one story I brought up in, I was talking about Chapter 6, like, happened. The one I got inspired for, like, putting the secrets monologue in. Ah! Ah! Have you calmed down? No, you just stole a part of me! You were asleep for a long time, so you must be confused. You should do Zeriasis for a while. Take your medicine and get some bed rest. It was all a dream. Just move your waggle your fingers around overhead. It was all a dream. Hanyo, wait, tell me. Was that world... Look, everyone's arrived. I'll only be in your way, so I'll disappear for a while. Hanyo! I started to hear many footsteps running down the hallway. Okay, oh my gosh. Does that mean you're, like, after, like, meeting the gang only once in the last, like, I guess in the 8th installment, you're just now in and out of existence now? Well, good for you. You don't get to go to school, apparently, like, or all of this. You've probably seen every lecture, but you don't have to sit in the class and actually just do homework. God, you got it easy. Hanyu whirled around, as though pivoting on her heel, and vanished. In exchange, the hospital door clattered violently open. My beloved club member friends appeared. The Demon Club is back! Aw. Rika! Sadako. Hey, Sadako, Rika-chan just woke up. You shouldn't be hugging her. It's okay, Keiichi-kun. Thank goodness. Clinging to me, Sadako fell to her knees in the spot and started bawling without hesitation. Welcome back, Rika-chan. We have faith you come back to us. Yeah, because when we all believe in one thing, a miracle will sure to happen. That's how we beat Takano in the crazy battle, right? Because we all believed in it, her miracle. Everyone believed that you come back for sure, Rika-chan. We came to visit every day. We knew for sure you wake up, so we came every day. Oh, thank goodness. Coach says your memories are a little bit muddled. You didn't forget about this old man and the rest of us, right? I completely forgot about every single one of you. You orange-haired girl, I think your name is, Shion, right? You green-haired girl, your name is Sadako, right? I know who Sadako and Rena and Keiichi are, but I don't know who you are, me. Again, I just found out again that me is not even like her talking to Mion, like it's a nickname for her. It's just a mannerism, and I can't believe it took me so long to realize that. Nepa, Hoshi. Well, I guess you're alright. No, she completely forgot Mion's name. This is something I could never have asked before. But just to make absolutely sure this really was my original world, I asked anyway, but my memory was still confused. Is Satoshi not coming? Sadako gave a somewhat lonely smile and spoke. For a second there, I thought you just like would have made her so grievously upset, honestly, for that question. Nini still hasn't come back after running away 2 years ago, remember? Rika, you can be so forgetful. Her expression makes my chest tighten. She was definitely a Sadako from my original world. I see. Memories do seem a little confused. Very spotty, very muddled. He said it wouldn't last and that it was nothing to worry about. It's the same as when you get a phone call that wakes you up, and you say strange things will happen asleep. Yeah. I mean, you were sleeping for almost a month after all, so technically speaking, for a day or two, your voice can be entirely muddied, and you're still acclimate to your surroundings now. The atmosphere of that world and this world are completely different. It's like almost a difference between a pressurized chamber. This whole month felt like I was having a dream. Wasn't it exactly almost the exact length of time, honestly, I guess the original, like how long Rika spent in the other world, actually? It's kind of freaky, honestly. Oh god, don't tell me that don't fucking tell me because the whole thing with Rika burnt, Federica burnt Castell, like, that Rika's life is a bit ruined, honestly, or she has to live with that now. Oh my good god, that's actually kind of terrifying. Oh, having a fabulous time, sure, in spite of how worried we were. It was a great dream, of course, why not? It was a very mysterious world, I think. It was Hinamizawa, just like here, but a bunch of things are different. First of all, Keiichi wasn't here. Hey, what? Why'd you have to leave me out? As in that world, the incident with the gun didn't happen. How do you know about the gun? In that world, you didn't have all those regrets. No, that wasn't all it was. I realized this would be my only chance to confess to my own sin. Everyone listened as I told them all about the world. Whenever some small thing was different, they responded one way or the other about it. They listened to me seriously. It's like Rita's telling a giant AU of what happened in the moment. So the reason I'm here is because I weighed that world and this one, and chose this world, I think. You probably saw the other side of the river Styx. Oh my god. Okay. Like a near-death experience. Wowee, I can't believe that when Rika got hit by the car, she literally went through, like, when she flew through the air, she was being carted over the river Styx and went to a different world entirely. That was it. That's what caused it all. Oh my good god. Wait, I just realized. Oh my good god. I completely forgot to gloss over that fact. That means that Rika's body is actually dead and gone. What happened to when that Rika, like that world's Rika was swapped out? Where is she? What? Where? Oh good god. Where is her? Where is that version of Rika? Oh my good god. Oh no. Look at your death experience. If you had chosen that world, you probably wouldn't have come back here. Yeah, so I chose that one. I don't think I would have returned. We all believed you'd come back, Rika-chan. And you believed in it too, so that means our hands reached each other. I think you were doing your best to come back to us while you were asleep. What a good girl. Pat, pat. Keiichi grinned and patted my head, but it seemed like he was mistaking what I meant. I hadn't returned. I'd compared that world and this one and chosen this one. Why had I chosen this world? Because this one was more comfortable to be in. There's that too. Sadako was always with me. Everyone in the club was here. And they were nice to me and spoiled me. But all that was still a world built on top of everyone's sins and misfortune. In other words, I chose to sacrifice the others for my own happiness. Shamelessly, self-centeredly, and selfishly. And that's the one thing, like, I kind of realized, like, when going through college, that there's gonna be parts in your life where you technically have to be a bit selfish. And sometimes you just focus purely on just trying to appease others. It just make yourself miserable in turn. And then, what, just gonna be living the rest of your life just being, like, just a lapdog for someone else, just looking to please so many different other people? Yeah, it's not gonna be healthy, and it's something that no one should ever do, honestly. Sometimes you just had to be selfish and just do your own thing, just pursue your own happiness. It's still good to just keep it balanced and still keep in mind of trying to help out people you actually care about and who are important to you, which I guess in its own way is a bit acting selfishly. In the same way, if just making friends, honestly, and all that, you kind of have to be first selfish, like selfless actually a bit. To try to make friends with them, and I guess try to make them happy and actually form a connection, honestly. At that point, then yeah, at least that's how I see it anyway. Everyone was fulfilled in that world, only I wasn't. Both guess with all the experiences you have from this world and even that Rika then as well, both. But I knew that I too could be happy there if I put in the hard work. But at the very end, I'd chosen this world. I chose the world where I could rest on my laurels, atop the suffering and tears of my friends. That sounds like a very interesting world. Did you get to the part where you told everyone about killing your mom, or just because it doesn't say like anyone's reacted to that part just yet, or they left it out. Okay. That's like a very interesting world. Thank you. You want us all to be happy if it was just a dream. Rena smiled as she said that. Only she seemed to understand what I really meant by what I said. Okay. But you know, if I got the chance to choose between those two worlds, I think this world would have been the right choice. Why? It's true that my mother's divorce was really sad for me. It changed a lot, but thanks to that I learned a lot too. So the Reina in the other world you talked about probably isn't as human as this Rena is. Dehumanize the other version of myself. Okay, good God. You thought I was an exemplary person even as Reina in your dream, but when I was actually Reina, I wasn't a very respectable person. What I mean is, when my mother got divorced, it was really hard and sad for me, but now I can accept it, since maybe it was just one of the trials a person has to go through in their life. It's true that the trials of life, of failure, make a person grow. Yeah, I get what Rena means too. I didn't go to Hinamizawa in that world, but I was probably a total loser. Okay, that's a way to put it. I regret that incident more than anything I've ever done, and I won't forget it as long as I live. I'll probably have to reflect on it till the day I die. But like Rena said, thanks to the incident, I learned a lot of important lessons. Thinking about whether there was a world where I could make it so past incidents never happened might be attractive. But I don't think about that stuff. I think there are important foundations that pile up to make it Keiichi Maebara here today. Oh, but that goes for me as well. I was a spoiled child before, and I would have stayed away long as Nini was here. Having a world where Nini would never leave home is indeed an attractive invitation. But staying with him and continuing to be a spoiled child would mean nothing. So I choose this world. Because now I can be proud of myself and wait for Nini return. Do you all really think that? I worried so much, thinking I had to erase my sin. And now you're rejecting the choice of a beautiful world where those sins don't exist? Yep, I think this world is more valuable. But why? Because the future of this world was something we all worked together to achieve. The people in that world were just idling their time away, right? Idling away, but is living without sin a sin in itself? It's not, but this one is still more valuable. I mean, yeah, like, even if nothing really bad happens, not a bad thing to not experience it. I guess it makes sense why I'm, several people, like, mentioned before, just, that whole thing of, like, like, growing from it. Like, growing from, like, I guess, some, hardships and all that. I do, like that, I guess, that idea and concept, but, yeah. I kind of still add to the top of, like, top of my head that I'm, if you really, like, not just the sense, like, you, like, take hardship to grow and all that, like, that feels, like, still pertinent, honestly, but for, like, moments where, like, there's, like, great and utter tragedy, like, where something horrible happens, and honestly, all of that, like that, I still think, like, the act in itself is still just horrible. We can accept it and move on from it, but I'm still never gonna accept the fact that, the original thing happened. You can learn and grow from it, but oh gosh, it still makes me feel complicated just to think that that horrible thing that happened anyway, where, like, it literally maybe sometimes irreversibly changes you for either the worst or better or not. That's just a complicated thing to think about in my own brain right now. It's not, but this one is still more valuable. You had more time and experience in this world, Rika. I think the flowers that grow up in a greenhouse without difficulty are beautiful, sure. But maybe wildflowers that withstand the rain and the wind and heat and cold have something more to them than beauty. I'm only talking about how important that is. Is there reason to be ashamed of a beat-up wildflower? But if you asked us to choose whether to grow up in a greenhouse or a field... Oh, I get it. That's what you've been getting wrong all along, Rika-chan. Meep? We're all wildflowers that sprout in the field, aren't we? Once you've bloomed, there's no point comparing them to an impossible imaginary future. Rika-chan, you're talking from the point of view of something higher than a flower, something not human. Which of those two worlds is happier? The only ones that can debate that are the gods who can go between those worlds. But for the human named Rika-chan, there's only one world. Oh, wait. I mean, you're in both worlds, but you can't go between them. The wildflower you and the greenhouse you both exist. I think both of them are living proudly, following the destiny of their own worlds. And the fucking destiny of fate thing. The wildflower is saying things like, I wouldn't have struggled with anything if I grew up in a greenhouse. Doesn't make sense to begin with. We're all flowers. Wherever we plant our roots and sprout, we do our best to grow and bloom. Wishing you were born in super rich families what losers say in their sleep. You tend to fantasize, you just start putting effort in front of cheap supermarkets so you can save up change. What the where'd that come from? Yeah. Sadako was proud of herself, so even if there was a world where she was super rich, I think you could compare them and not find either of them to be worse than the other. I mean, technically speaking, isn't... That's actually something that weirdly to think about, because technically, every single main character here, like, technically in some way, is rich, actually. Because, what was it, like, the bank book, actually? From, the government, and, whatever happened to Sadako's own parents. Like, I feel like Sadako would get that money, like, since we had a whole entire, like, segment afterwards of him, like, you know, Teppei, like, trying to look for the bank book and never finding it before getting kicked out. And literally, actually, no matter what, like, either Keiichi kills Teppei in that world, or legitimately, he gets thrown out. There might be worlds where he found it in certain cases, but in this world, that technically means that Sadako, like, when she comes of age, will get that money, and technically speaking, everyone else as well, with Keiichi, like, technically growing up, like, with his dad being a wealthy artist, honestly, making a giant mansion, like a manor, like, just to move here to Hinamizawa. Mion makes it completely obvious. Rika, again, obviously political powers and all that such, and being connected to Kimiyoshi, who's helping, you know, her out, honestly. And then also with Rena, who, like, yeah, because, like, your parents were, like really astounding designers, because, they both worked, honestly, to, put their designs into their company and moved away, and then the divorce happened where their mom had to give, like, like, you know, money and alimony and definitely, like, child support, then they're really well off. And wasn't there, like, a line that said that that Rena's dad, like, didn't really have to work, but it would just be helpful for him to actually, have something else to do, honestly? I mean, maybe not even just a job, but just something to keep his hands busy, like a hobby or anything like that. Like, everyone is really well off, even when they all had their own different struggles, so, I must say, if I had to choose, I prefer to be super rich. You will be in 18 years. Well, I don't know how, I still think you're, like, you know, you're 8 or 10, so wait 8 more years, because I still see everyone, like, in this group as, like, preteens, honestly. I've seen people, like, say, like, they're definitely like Keiichi, Mion, and Ren are 13 or 14, but no, I never saw it that way, never. I wonder, Rika-chan, are you still having second thoughts after waking up in this world? Like, whether this is really the right choice? Or you think that maybe the other one would have been good too? I mean, the kind of, like, that sort of discourse and thought in your brain is going to be there forever, honestly. I guess if Hanya didn't get rid of, I guess, the horrible feeling, honestly, from her chest of actually recognize the fact that she killed someone, or, like, witnessed, like, you know, that horrible aftermath, honestly, she'll probably live with that anxiety for a lot of her time. She'll probably still have the anxiety just, like, of making the choice, honestly, but the horrible feeling of having to make it, honestly, or even witness it, is now gone. Like, my good gosh. Again, PTSD learnings. Those words are probably the root of these cheerless feelings. I love this world, but I couldn't help but be troubled given the depth of my own sin, abandoning that world and insisting everyone else be sinners. Shouldn't I have chosen that world for the sake of everyone I loved? They unanimously decided this world was better, but in a way, it was just acceptance, since they hadn't been granted the choice of selecting one of the two. That was why everyone thought positively and went with this world. If they could have actually chosen, they'll be conflicted too. Because, like, again, if they have the same exact choices, like, they'll be just as biased as well. Because, again, probably, like, even with the gods themselves, I would still think it'd be a bit biased anyway. Because either favoritism or just, like, whether that god decides to choose or, like, just watch over one world or another, honestly. Like, it's still all gonna be biased in some way. That's how I think of it anyway, so, Would there ever be such a thing as, like, an unbiased choice? You can certainly try to distance yourself from, like, your own feelings and all that, sure, but it'll still be there. It's just account for them. It must be hard. So that's why the sadness deep down won't heal, Rika-chan. And yet, only Rena seemed to have figured everything out. The pain is gonna be there. It's a wound now, again. Just like having to make that choice, honestly. Kill a part of yourself and just wounding yourself. Be like, it's gonna be there. It has to heal. Oh, I know. I'll explain it to you like a game, so that you can understand too, Rika-chan. Michan, you brought candy with you today, right? Is it candy corn? Huh? Sure, why? What's she gonna do? Gamble with it. Play poker with it. Old maid, let's go. Then, Rena grabbed it with both her hands and stuck them out toward me. Here, Rika-chan, it's a present. I wonder which of these hands is better. Which is? Oh my god, it's the red and blue box all over again. God damn it, no. Meep, you won't make me play a punishment game if I guess wrong, will you? Aw, there's nothing like that. Don't worry, just choose. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm doing a punishment game when a person just woke up from a month-long coma to getting in a hit and run. Yeah, please don't do that. Please don't. Even considering how we usually do our club games, there really were no hints at all. I looked at the size of Rena's fist, but I couldn't begin to guess which had the candy in it. Oh, whatever. I choose left. And to test my luck, then I choose this fist. This one? Will you say which fist you chose, please? Here. Rena opened her fist and revealed candy. Oh, yeah, yes, right. Well, I say that, but they didn't say what it was, so unless I say it, I won. Unless it's candy I hate, which, if I didn't get it, I still won. I must have made the right choice. Congratulations! Here, say, ah, Hoshi. Ah, Hoshi. My gosh. Is it good? It was the standard, but nostalgic taste of strawberry milk. It's the fucking strawberry cream candy! It's made its return after so long! The thing that stuck in my mind for so long because of that fragment! What? It's back. As it shrunk as I rolled it around my mouth and sucked on it, I couldn't help but give a smile. It's good. Napa. You've heard the Hoshi part. Are you happy? And Rika-chan's world is happy. I'm really happy that I won your choice game. Victory is sweet. Literally. Hey, Rika-chan, why do you think you won? You could have done sleight of hand. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Are you a magician? Me? Rena showed me her other palm. The one I didn't choose. Ah. In her hand, she was holding 2 pieces of candy. How fucking dare you? Which hand was that? I want to know so badly. What was the choice that Rika made? I want to know just so I can just to either revel in my despair of making the wrong choice or not. In other words, the one I chose was wrong. That's not the right way to look at it. At that moment, this is really obvious, but I immediately realized how merry I had been feeling. That feeling right now is close to how you're feeling about this, isn't it? As soon as you compare different worlds, you're already overstepping your bounds as a person. It's God's job to worry about which is better, not ours. We only ever have one world given to us, and we made so that we can find happiness in it. In your dream, Rika-chan, you were a god who can go between 2 worlds, which made you feel like that. You can't worry about that what was in my other hand. I was a witch who had lived 100 years in countless worlds. That was exactly why I'd always believed I was special. Someone who would overcome millions of choices to gain happiness. I was able to gain happiness, that I was sure to. But I had it complete backwards. I wasn't any better than anyone else. When it came to finding happiness, I was the worst of them all. Then, I remembered how Hanyu had so curtly and quickly told me that the world was a dream. It wasn't a dream. But now that I'd chosen, this was reality, and that really was nothing more than a dream. When a cat is in a box, you can imagine 2 futures. One where it's alive and one where it's dead. But when you open it, there's only one future. The other future, that moment, becomes no more than a dream. You know, this is all, like, going around with, like, the same exact sentiment I had with other choice-based games, honestly. Like, my good gosh, it's hitting that same note as well. I'm enjoying this philosophical, like, talk, honestly, as well, so much, honestly. Oh, good gosh. The one who opens accepts the future inside, and lives. Worrying about which of the two futures in the box is better was a job for those who weren't human, those who could interfere with the contents. As a mere human being, I had awkwardly trodden in the world of the gods, which was why I misunderstood some important things, wasn't it? In that world, Hanyu had regrets. She regretted having used the power of the gods to interfere with my life. And now, I finally understood why. Did she compare every single world that happened for the longest time? Oh my gosh. She was quite clear about it. She clearly said that the people had to live the best they could in their world. I had to stop being this witch. You say that, but now I'm just wondering again if how the alternate end appears, honestly, of the last one, of Takano about going on the train. How does that come about? Did you really stop being a witch? Yes. I knew now that I was not the witch named Bern Castell, but Rika Furude. My copy had lived for 100 years, bending fate to her whim. And maybe she still exists in some other higher dimension than this human world. But that was no longer who I was. Are you telling me you've now been split in half, honestly, spiritually and physically? I was now Rika Furude. In this world, I would live. In this world, I would seize happiness. I mustn't use that power ever again. Which meant I had to make sure to not treat my own life without respect from now on. Which meant, guess I should be more careful with traffic accidents, and also about bike safety. Wear a helmet. Huh? Oh! Oh, you're right. Aw. You're right. Never mess around while riding your bike again. Yes, you're absolutely right. Children who don't know something that obvious have no right to pretend to be witches. Doesn't make a lick of sense. Witch? What are we talking about? Alright everyone, let's leave things at that for today. Visiting hours are not over. I can tell that immediately. I was looking at the clock the entire time. Stop it, Irie. Stop it, Irie. Yeah. Rika-chan is still very weak right now. You can all come visit again tomorrow. So let's let her have some rest. Coach appeared and clapped his hands together. Their friends weren't finished saying goodbye just yet. Rika? Are you alright now? Thank you. Ren explained everything to me better than your tied-up tongue ever could. Ha! Oh my good god. I'm okay now. The next time you lose your life, I'll have to accept that fate. Yeah. I think I'm fine with that too. Children who mess around the road get hit by cars every day in Japan. This happened to occur in Hinamizawa too. If I have something to be frustrated about, it's not crossing the road in a red light from now on. But, are you okay with that? You used to throw tantrums about how lonely you'd be without me. I'm alright now. I made a very important friend. Really? Who is it? Introduce me. You should get me to another world, please, right now. I want to meet them immediately. I'm not telling. Oh, hi there, Frederica Bern Castell. Give the poems, honestly, to this Rika when she gets older, please. I see. That means I'm Rika Fruity, right? Oh, wow, you caught on so quickly. If you think so, Rika, then you are. I mean, if you don't like your name, you can just change it. Thank you. Thank you for what? A bunch of things. After Irie admonished everyone else, they all glumly got ready to go home. Hanyu, too, was about to disappear. But I clapped my fist into my hand, as remembering something, and spoke to her. Hey, Hanyu! What is it? In that other world, I promised I'd fill the refrigerator with cream puffs once I return to my original world. Well, you're not in your, you have to stay in the hospital, so that has to be waited off for a while, okay? But that was a dream, so I can forget about it, right? Ah! Absolute trauma now. You're breaking character. Be gone. Rika! I'll bring you something tomorrow when we visit. Is there anything you want to eat? Hmm? Rika-chan likes spicy things, doesn't she? Yes, you're already thinking plainly as day now. She likes going to the Korean food fair at the department store in Gogura, doesn't she? When do they sell super hot kimchi there? Ah! Ow, 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 ow! God damn it. God damn it. I think I'm kind of glad as well that I decided not to put voices on because of that. I heard so many people say that's annoying, but it sounded so funny when I heard voice clips of it on Bob Vid stuff. Oh my god. I want something sweet. Not cream puffs, though. Sweet? Okay, what kind? The sweetest thing. Let's all go buy a shortcake. The ones at Angel Mort are especially delicious. Then I'll go with some cream puffs at Angel Mort. Cheap ones are fine, I just want to eat a lot. It's a good thing you're energetic enough to eat. Doesn't matter what kind of food, if you eat a lot, you'll be back to normal. Now then, everyone, visiting hours are over. Don't worry, everyone, you can break into the windows, honestly, later on tonight if you really just want to talk more. Everyone began to leave. Hanyu, too. Now we're even, right? I didn't do you any favors. Didn't you just say you rewound Rika's fate for the very first loop? Actually? I think that's a giant favor of saving someone's life. Like, literally, no matter what context it was, I think it is. Right. That was a dream after all. Good night, Rika. Sweet dreams. Good night, Rika Furude. And please, treat the future you won with care. Thank you. Oh, right. After I get out, the first thing I'll do is go visit my parents' grave. I realized something just now. Why I had to kill my mother and return to this world. The fragment coming out when I killed her, whatever, wasn't the problem. Choosing a world in which my mother wasn't here was already killing her. Until now, I'd chosen this world without feeling any sorrow for it. For killing my mother every time. That was what you wanted me to realize, isn't it? The sins you feel in me. That's probably one of them. I'd stopped respecting my parents. And I finally realized that in the other world... Rika, thank you for realizing. I feel as though the most important sin I felt from you has been cleansed. You'll be okay, Rika. Your hands are not stained with your mother's blood. That was all... something I showed you because I wanted to be mean to you for a little. Oh my good god, what the fuck, Hanyo? Or is this for Rika? Oh my good god, that sounds cruel in any which way you look at it. Oh my fucking god. All just a dream. May you forget all of it when you waken from your slumber. Good night, Rika. Sleep deep. Sleep deep. As I dream of how you will color your life in the future. God, that's an amazing way to end it. I definitely, truly believe that's everyone, like, saying that this is technically the true end for Higurashi was completely right. Beyond the Sticks. Finish the Sakoroshi chapter. And technically speaking, that really just ends the main story, honestly, of the game. I don't think I'll go through the side stuff, honestly, but... man, I'll probably still go through my own time later, like, sooner later on enough. It's still interesting. I'll definitely just want to see exactly what was the whole thing behind, the Miyakashi, I guess, after party, which was changed out. Even though, like, I know technically going into it what happened there, I'd just be interested to see what it is. I'll probably just be, I'll be a bit of a hypocrite if I didn't check him out anyway, honestly, because yeah, I'm planning to go through, like, pretty much almost all the side stuff with him, going through Echo as well. Just oh, good gosh. Like, I didn't, like, just hearing more and more about how people both in and out of the fandom from Higurashi, honestly, has put a lot of different things into light, honestly. If people, like, thinking of who only people watch the anime have seen, like, express their own opinions on some of the characters, like Sadako being a brat for some reason, the main story, and also Shion being an absolute yandere, which, again, just reading through the visual novels here, I had the complete and utter opposite interpretation of. It's just so weird, but also like humanly unique to see how many different people like saw different things. Honestly, like how the anime just interpreted it, honestly, whether you think it's good or bad. Even though I haven't seen it just yet, I might very well like read it, like just watch it later on. Honestly, like that's still so cool to think about. I'm still thinking back on those like almost words again of them, like installment, like the eighth installment, just like him talking all about like the whole stuff about fan fiction. Like, oh, that's what it feels like. The whole thing about the different worlds and the AUs. Honestly, that's how I equate it almost as well. It's like, I could definitely see people taking their own interpretations of it, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Where I'm trying to find something more beautiful, like I'm and just normal, like just things that people have made because of their own love and passion for it, or literally just even when they're inexperienced in just writing, just creating in general, just putting it out there, just to dabble in something. Because again, I have found so many interesting and good stories, honestly, because of it. In its own channel, honestly. Both like talking like and showcasing off like Phoenix Wraith, Attorney like fan games, honestly, and just going I went through those games for a while back, honestly, and I wanted to show it off and have other people who've probably never heard it before, or like like are just blind to it, have heard of it but never gave it a shot, like just watch straight through it. And like I can just already imagine like some people like I know when going through like before starting Higurashi, I was very like I think I mentioned the very beginning before, kind of anxious and definitely a bit what is the word, hesitant to go through it, both of how long it was, honestly. Like I never heard anything about I guess some of the more unsavory bits, but that probably would have added to it too. But I'll probably still go through it anyway, just having that one in my brain. Because like there's definitely some parts in the game which yeah, I was definitely not prepared for, and I think a lot of people probably had the same exact experience too. And like the games are like far from perfect, but literally again, no one else is. Even though like my favorite stuff, which I like already harp about almost in these let's plays, honestly, just going through this one, they have their own flaws, honestly, too. Honestly, like it just. But I do like the message for this one. I really do. Just making your own path and your own choices and decisions. Honestly, it hits upon different things I realize in oh gosh, so many other games toy around and mess with. Honestly, I think there was I can't remember what there was one game I think no it was one like story like someone actually wrote a fan fiction like making all different choices with different endings, had to also be a certain topic as well. Like, man, that was so interesting. That wasn't that wasn't the fanfic I referenced, by the way, down like in the description of Operation VK. Like that one's a complete linear story. But again, as I bring it up, think about Operation VK. Read it. It's good. Give things a chance, honestly. And if you don't like the beginning or like for any sort kind of story, just give things a chance and probably find something really cool and amazing out of it. Oh boy. Like again, I would still give Higurashi a chance even if I was warned about him. All the different unsavory bits, I guess, is still as I just mentioned before. There's still like a lot of different things. Like there's a lot of cool things in the world, honestly, that people have made, or like that are just naturally made. That it'd be so cool to see, honestly. And that's the kind of message I'm taking, honestly, from all of this. It was really fun to go through all this for Higurashi from beginning to all the way to here the end for Ray for the true epilogue and ending for the game. It's so good. And like just to put it also out there that I've actually seen like the opening for the anime just to put almost everything out there before I take a small break before I'm like just giving us a time before going to Yumeneko. That I have went and actually seen the anime like I guess openings, and like there's that those are really good. Like those are so really good. And even though I haven't seen the anime, and I know they like brushing things down, and some people say like they have their issues with them, the things they decide to keep in and things they decide to remove. Like the few clips I've seen of I guess Studio Dean's I guess version of making the anime. I think the very first original of it, like the scene involving just Reina doing the infamous like lies bit and like the very first summit on Kikuchi, honestly, like that communicated really well. The like after her screaming at the birds erupting out of the trees and everything like that. Like I hope there's like a lot of interesting shots like that where they translate so well visually. Honestly, I know like for an anime they had to make sure to communicate things more visually. And they can't do constant monologues, a la like Death Note, or they have to do it very stylistically, or don't make it the entire point of several episodes. Even though, god damn it, the sidewalk episode for Death Note was absolutely the best, the absolute best episode, and the best story and tension, all stuff like that, the stakes, everything. Ah, good gosh, you just gotta figure out a way to best execute things and just make things honestly. Like just make anything. It's still a good thing to do and just still a good way to connect with other people. That's the one thing Higurashi like prides itself like making the message of all on its own. And yeah, it's agreeable. Well, I'd say that wrong. Agreeable. Like no, it's an ideal. It's best to actually have like a community and a support group and actually make friends. Like just to reach out to people and hopefully they reach out in return. That's literally the same thing. Just making any kind of connection and just a relationship. Honestly, we're actually to put effort in, whether it has to be from your end or theirs, and you respond in kind. That's really how it all is. And again, there was a part of me like, at least at first, like there's a very small part of me which I'm sort of regretted like not seeing as some I guess Rika's final day in that world. At the same time, I think it's honestly kind of almost better because I was also thinking that we would probably never get the true answer for that, and we'll never get to know if she really did or not. Like just be up to the reader interpretation of what technically what she chose. Honestly, yeah, like I already mentioned before, I already chose almost the exact same that Rika would have chose. Honestly, like depending on all the same circumstances, and again like if like doing that action would definitely bring them back to the original world. Yeah, because it's like over 100 years of effort and all the time and effort, like the bonds you made with them, the friends and all the demon club. Honestly, it's so good. And even like they Higurashi has characters which are definitely meant to be portrayed as I guess more irredeemable. Just like hearing other people's like just takes on like some of the how they're interpreted. Honestly, like I mentioned before, like probably like Teppei for example, and like Rina, I guess some maybe a lesser extent or maybe an equal extent depending on how you look at it subjectively, are probably the most it can probably equate to being more demonic, or I guess monstrous in terms of they're far away from humanish qualities like selflessness and all that. But they definitely still probably had something that led them to go down that route, which is from if, like how they're born, or like what things they had access to. It just all culminates down to looks like everyone decides to choose best in their own life. Honestly, whether to other people it's good or bad, and there's definitely gonna be some people out there who think what you're doing is horrendously, horribly bad, but unless they're close to you, then they don't know a damn thing about you, so don't really heed that advice. Then don't heed their words. Honestly, they try to tell you they're doing something entirely wrong, and you don't think it's a good advice, or they don't even know where you're coming from. Like, ah. Like it's still good advice to go along with. And again, I'm rambling, but who isn't? But well, this has been Higurashi. Maybe definitely later down the line, I'll go through Hinamizawa bus stop and see how things were so different in the first draft, and how Ryukishio 7 like slowly evolutionized all the characters from that first draft, from just a simple stage play almost to this whopping like million word just like novel series. Honestly, basically. Oh boy. And I'm definitely gonna take a break as I mentioned before, and I'm gonna be staying far away as possible from anything talking about Yumineko. I've been looking up some fanfics, honestly, like just like see how other people how other people are taking Higurashi's story and like twisting it to their own ideas or what they want to focus on, or like making them their own things from it. I've already been reading through some of them. Right now I've been reading through them someone writing a story about him focusing on Mion being in Rika's same position for this story, honestly, being swept over to a similar world where they never got tattooed, and technically everyone is doesn't have their sins, honestly, and just depending on how that goes. gonna be interesting to go read through that. Like, I do that for almost every single thing I like, and I'm not gonna stop it for this one. But it's gonna be a bit before I go through Yumeneko. I'm not gonna look up anything through it, and just getting things set up for both Yumeneko and Echo, which again I would still recommend checking it out because as someone put, like, that's another way to put it best, honestly. I've seen many people actually mention that Echo is literally just a mirror of like Higurashi's ideas and themes, similar ideas and concepts, but taken almost mirrored in an opposite direction. It's still so intriguing. It's still, you have no idea how much I was kind of almost like blindly just freaking out my brain, like trying to hold back from saying so many different things going through this game. And like there's even some parts, like it's in the later installments, which I still felt reminded of. But again, because those the answer arcs, they were reflecting like answering stuff from the the question arcs, so it was kind of part and parcel. Like it's the same exact amount of things, it's taking a different perspective, honestly. But still, it was there, and oh boy, it was so fun to see it all again, volume up. That's probably what I had like a different and nuanced take of it. I won't say it as anything else, but it's gonna be interesting if all you decide to go through it, and it's gonna be an amazing ride. But until going through the stage play and Yumeneko, and whoever decides whoever watching this or already has maybe watched Echo and has gone through the story, hope you'll join me for those games later on. But with that, we'll leave things off for right here. So, hope you have a fun time watching this as I have been playing this. Hope to see you next time, whatever time that may be. And I'll hope a fantastic day.